to the sperm.
Yeah, because
But for
if you look at
anybody with any logical sense who's reading this would interpret it as the fluid ejected, emerging
Really?
from between the backbone
Okay.
and the ribs, and not and
carry on
nothing
reading.
to do
Carry on reading.
with man
okay.
itself.
Carry on reading.
So is this your interpretation,
Hang on.
or is this like a global interpretation?
Can you carry on
of
reading?
Muslims? I just want to know.
No, can you carry on reading?
And then it says here, indeed. So that's full stop. Full stop.
Carry on reading.
Full stop.
Yeah.
Indeed, Allah, to return him to life, is able.
Return who? The sperm, right?
It doesn't say. It's ambiguous.
It's not ambiguous. It's only using pronouns.
Okay.
Just like when it used the pronouns to refer to in between the backbone and the ribs, it used a pronoun, not a noun. So you understood the pronoun refers to the noun immediately preceding, which is the fluid. So this is another pronoun. It should refer to the fluid, right?
This is referring to. So it's saying, indeed, Allah, to return him. Is
Why did
able.
you say him? It's a pronoun.
I'm reading the English right now, so this is what it says.
I'm dealing with the Arabic. So now you have a pronoun. This pronoun refers to who? It should refer to the last noun that is mentioned, right? Not the noun mentioned much earlier.
I don't know, because it has a full stop first.
It's not about full stop.
Wait.
Look. Listen.
So wait.
The way things work. The way things work.
The Quran now
look,
speaks about
listen.
something else. So I'm trying to understand.
When I said he came, what do you understand by this word he came?
He is a pronoun.
Referring to who?
Referring to a masculine.
Who?
Referring to a masculine. It doesn't say who. You
No.
can't say
If I
who
make
it
that
is.
statement in English, he came. You don't know who it is, right? I have to earlier on, perhaps, or even later, to tell you what this pronoun refers to, which noun. We have two nouns before the in-between statements of backbone and ribs. Two nouns. One is the man, the first noun. The second noun is the fluid, which is self-emitting. Okay. So you have later on, from these two nouns, several pronouns. As you said, with everyone with a logical mind would think it is quite obvious. Now you have a logical mind. Now tell me, all the pronouns that comes after, which noun should it refer to?
Which noun? Which
Yes.
pronoun should it refer to?
No, the pronouns that are mentioned, which noun should it be referring to?
Which noun it should be referring to?
There are two nouns that I mentioned earlier:
Which was the sperm,
man and the fluid.
sperm,
Yeah.
and which one? Which pronoun?
So all the pronouns that now comes in verse later on, they would refer to which of those nouns?
We would have to now assume, okay? We would now have to assume that it's referring to the man in this pronoun here.
Why assume man?
It's an assumption based upon the fact
Based on
that
what?
to return him is able.
No. Why? So you're now contextualizing the meaning, right? It's not about this noun is close to the pronoun and the pronoun now follows the noun. You're contextualizing meaning. I'm contextualizing the meaning. Everywhere in the Quran, the verb yakhruju has never been used even once to refer to the fluid. It's always been used in the context of man. All the ways.
So
I can give you several examples.
What does that term actually mean? What does the word mean?
Kharaja yakhruju means to come forth. Yeah, come out.
To come out. So you're saying now that
So I'm saying, carry on reading again. So you.
I'm just going to go back to it. So it's saying here, so let man observe from what he was created.
Yeah.
So man, let's just observe. Where were you created? And it says here, he was created from a fluid ejected, emerging from between the backbone and the ribs.
Yeah.
That is a continuous sentence. Then there's a full stop.
Is it a continuous sentence or a different ayah?
It's a continuing.
Is it a different ayah?
It's a different line, yes.
It's not a line. Is it a different?
It's a complete verse, yes.
It's a complete verse,
verse.
right? So when a complete verse starts, it starts with a pronoun. Statements with a pronoun, right? Okay.
Yes.
Which noun is it referring to?
It says, well, let's start right here.
Don't say it says. We are now talking about language.
Let's go where it starts from. It says here, so let man, so we're talking about a man, observe from what he was created. So as men now, let's actually observe where were we created from. And it says here, we was created from a fluid, ejected, emerging from between the backbone and the ribs. Full stop.
Yeah.
Full stop.
That's fine.
So now, the logical thing is that the sperm is emerging from between the backbone and the ribs.
That's what you assume from the immediate noun describing, right, with a pronoun. That's why you.
I just want to know. Because I just want to know. Because
I've just told you.
I'm understanding where he's coming from. But
I've just told you.
Does everybody understand what is being said here?
Okay, let me clarify to you.
Everybody in the Muslim world have your understanding, because from everybody who's reading this, I'm sure even the gentleman here was thinking, the sperm is coming from between the backbone and the ribs.
People generally can understand this because that's how language operates. If you refer to a pronoun, the pronoun refers to the immediate noun that is mentioned. But what I have said, if you keep on reading, there are other pronouns mentioned. These pronouns do not refer to the last noun that I mentioned. They refer to the most earlier noun, which is the man. So if you think that it should refer to the most closest noun, which is the fluid, the sperm, why doesn't all the other pronouns refer to it?
Because there's a full stop there, and now we're
It's not about full stop.
You finished the sentence, a trail of thought,
hang
and
on,
now
hang
there's
on.
a new trail of thought going on.
I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Wait,
No,
slowly.
wait.
Don't
Let me
ask me a question. Yeah,
Is
yet.
there any tafsirs on this particular verse?
Hang on.
Hang on.
Listen.
The community consensus is.
Listen.
That's fair enough. I just want to know if it's just your
First
thoughts,
of all, it's not
or
my
is this
thoughts.
just the
Scholars have already explained this,
Earlier
right?
on,
Scholars have explained this.
It always means to the man, not
Brother.
you go to different verses.
If there can be
I'm
people.
not saying you're wrong, by the way.
No.
I just
If
don't
people
understand
can show me my mistakes, I'm more than willing to be corrected. But this is where the interpretation comes from. It starts by saying, let man observe from where it's created from. Okay? That's the number one noun. Secondly, it carries on saying, خُلِقَ مِن مَاءٍ دَافِقٍ. He's created from ma and daf, something that is self-emitting the water. So now, ma, this is another name, right? Another noun.
Ma.
Yeah, the water, the fluid, the sperm.
Okay.
It's not a pronoun.
Okay.
It's a noun.
Okay.
Good. Full stop. Okay, we have now first sentence or first ayah, second ayah, and third ayah. يَخْرُجُ مِن بَيْنِ الصُّلْبِ وَالتَّرَائِبِ. Preceding it, he, because يَخْرُجُ means this is a male pronoun, proceeds from between the sulb and the tara'ib, backbone and the ribs. Now, this pronoun refers to which noun is my question. I am saying this pronoun refers to the first noun, number one noun, which is man. And why I say this, I'll give you two concrete reasons. Number one reason, the verb yakhruju has never been used for the ma or the fluids, the sperm, nutfa, mani, anything at all. It's always consistently throughout the Quran been used for the man, insan. Number one. Second point, within the same surah, we have the continuation of the pronouns without any nouns being introduced in the middle. إِنَّهُ عَلَى رَجْعِهِ لَقَادِرٌ. He is certainly able to bring it or him back. Every scholar, every exegete says this doesn't refer to the sperm. It refers to the earlier noun, which is the man.
Understandable.
Why? Why should it do that? Are you suggesting that, okay, they're making some kind of grammatical error here because they are now a pronoun is jumping a noun and going to an earlier noun? But they say it's allowed. And they're giving us so many different examples from the Quran, the exegetes. And it carries on. يَوْمَ تُبْلَى السَّرَائِرُ فَمَا لَهُ مِنْ قُوَّةٍ وَلَا نَاصِرٍ. It or he will have no power and no helper. Who is this referring to? Look, even in bracket it says what? Man.
That's very honest.
This noun is the earlier noun that is mentioned, not the sperm.
So let me get your argument correct.
So my argument is quite simple. This yakhruju, the coming forth, is not referring to sperm, it's referring to man. Okay. Contextually, linguistically.
So your argument is this particular one is talking about sperm and it's not talking about it's talking about man.
There's two evidence given.
Rather than sperm.
There's
Okay.
two statements
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
One statement is, where is man created from? Man's created from a fluid that is self-emitting. Number one point. Secondly, this man comes from in between these two places. So if someone says there's a scientific mistake, I would like to know what the mistake is. And if someone says, I have made my own opinion, I would like to know where I am wrong. Because this is linguistically...
Why so cryptic? Why so cryptic?
It's not cryptic.
Well, it's meant to be easy to read. Obviously, I've misunderstood.
You misunderstood because you thought every pronoun refers to the immediate... No.
Whose fault is that?
You thought every noun must follow the immediate noun, not the earlier noun. And that's why you thought that.
And that's my fault because I read wrong.
No, because you thought so, but you didn't even realize the next pronoun referred to noun earlier. So you would have made that mistake.
I still don't know what tafsir on this verse is.
So no, tafsir, they can make tafsir that this refers to sperm. But I'm saying, why is my interpretation wrong?
Sorry?
Why is my interpretation wrong?
Your interpretation is
my interpretation is exactly...
It's not necessarily wrong.
Backed by the Quran.
No. Your interpretation is not necessarily wrong, but that's just one view. I just want to know what the consensus of the rest
Listen.
of the Muslim world
When it comes to
regarding this particular
comes to
because for me,
scientific
this is the first
exegesis.
time I've ever heard this argument ever brought forward.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. It's a very interesting thing.
People,
and I
look,
like it.
I'll
I'm
tell
not
you.
saying you're wrong. I
Listen.
I like it. But I
There is this
lajna.
The Commission for the Scientific Science of the Quran and Sunnah have produced a paper on this already. Al-Nash'at al-Dhurriya. Okay? It is an Arabic paper going through in much more detail what this is referring to. I have only given you a surface understanding why it's referred to man. In fact, he goes into detail saying it's not only talking about man, it talks about the origin of man. But it will be too difficult to explain because you have to understand the anatomy of the baby, no, not the baby, the first mention that we can even think of the origin of a man. So we're going even within the embryo, the first sign when the germ cells are produced and where they are produced. But I'm only limited to the apparent meaning, which is the man itself. Okay. So now as we return to our subjects, when the Quran talks about many things, you say they knew this and somehow you alluded to this, the Quran got it wrong. I'm afraid the Quran didn't get anything wrong scientifically. You should be, it's not open to question. What's wrong? What's wrong here scientifically?
Just as how I read it. Be.
Yeah. So if you
Mansour, can I ask you another question? Sorry, I just want to understand. I'm being selfish right now because I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So why would the Quran now jump from the fluids and then jump to the supposed backbone and ribs, which is where the womb is supposed to be? Why is it saying what he was created from rather than where he was created? Because your second statement is basically saying where he was created from rather than what he was created from.
The answer is given in the first verse where he's created from.
It says here, so let man observe from what he was created.
Yeah.
And it says he was created from a fluid.
That's the answer given. Full stop.
But now it's got into where. So
this is
between the backbone.
It's a different thing. The question first, let man observe. The answer is given in the next ayah immediately. It's created from a fluid that is self-emitting. That's it.
A fluid that is self-emitting.
Yeah. Now, what's so interesting about it? Because we know for sure. Come. You want to become a Muslim?
Yes.
Are you convinced that there is only one God?
I believe.
And you believe that only one God is worthy of worship and no one else is worthy of worship?
Yes, I believe.
And you believe in Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet, he's the Prophet and Messenger of God?
Yes, I believe.
Yeah. You believe, what were your previous belief? Did you believe in anything?
I was an atheist, but I'm seeking the pathway that will lead, in my words, to the Creator.
So you want to testify
Yes.
that there is no God worthy of worship except the one and only God, Allah, and you want to testify that Prophet Muhammad is his messenger.
Yes.
Right. So please repeat with him. He will tell you.
Yeah, do it.
Okay. So what you're going to say is exactly what you said. So you're going to say this in Arabic, but first in English.
Okay.
That I testify
I testify
that there is no one worthy of worship
that there is no one worthy of worship
except Allah alone.
except Allah alone.
And I also bear and testify
And I also bear and testify
that Muhammad
that Muhammad
is his servant and his messenger.
is his servant and his messenger.
Yeah. Say, Ashhadu
Ashhadu
an la
an
ashhadu
Ashhadu
an
an
la
la
ilaha
ilaha
illallah
illallah
wa ashhadu
wa ashhadu
anna
anna
Muhammadan
Muhammadan
abduhu
abdu
wa rasuluhu.
wa rasuluhu.
Alhamdulillah.
Allahu Akbar.
Congratulations.
May Allah accept you. When you
Thank
go,
you.
when you go, brother, go down there, go on your face and pray as Moses, as Muhammad, as Jesus.
Yeah.
And say, may Allah please continue guiding me.
Yes.
Okay. Take to one side, brother, and then we will talk later, inshallah. Okay. All the best. MashaAllah. So let's return to your question. Yeah. When Allah addressed, let man think where they created from, the answer was given immediately. It was created from self-emitting fluid. What's so interesting is this. Normally, normally the way things are described, it should be ma and madfuq. The water that is, emitted. But here it is using an active participle, which is a form called fa'il, dafiq. People didn't understand or know this before, that the water is self-emitting, self-propelled. We know this today. So Allah is drawing our attention to this phenomenon. Yeah? Where it's creating from. That's all.
When insan on the grave, become destroyed, all the bones and everything, the last of the backside of the human being,
Yeah.
right? The kharq al-awal,
No.
that will recreate again and become human again. That's what it is.
Hold on.
Yes.
He will never die. So that is the basic of the human.
No.
You have to understand the grammar.
I just gave you.
Inside of Arabic. So the grammar comes from where? From Arabic. So for example, there is no comma in the English language. In the spoken English language, there is no comma. In the written or the phonology of the language, there is comma, so we can understand.
In the spoken Arabic and in the written Arabic, there is no comma. There is what you call i'rab, which is the grammar.